Good now. Is the audio in? And this is really the procrastination live
Yes.
stream. In
This is it. This is the one.
in years of doing this, well, just 2 or 3 years, right? 2 years. We are yet to experience something like this. So really and truly, this is the procrastination and dealing with issues at home live stream. Press like on the video. I'm happy to say that our audio engineer is back from vacation. So I want to remind you all once again, for those of you all who are watching in the recording or after the fact, we have this every Wednesday at 6 p.m. We are going to accompany you all the way till exam, the Student Hub Live. It will be myself and Miss
Leah Elliott,
and we'll be interviewing different guests at your request, and we'll be having the time of our life right here, right? So let me say hello to some of the people. Biggs, Good Life Entertainment, Makila Worrell, Gregory Osborne, Grizz, Christy, Samantha, Rihanna. I can't say some of the names, but I'll just be very creative with them YouTube names. Cherry. Yeah. And Amelia. So before we are interrupted by the echoing audio, our topic today is procrastination, and then we want to spend some time in talking about how to deal with issues at home, how to solve issues at home. So I would have our guest introduce himself for the second time. Can you give us an introduction again?
Again, thank you so much for having me. My name is Jesse McBarrow. I'm a mindset coach. I know that's a new term. I'm not so new in the States, but new in Trinidad. And I am an entrepreneur. I do own a restaurant. And I am an activational speaker, not a motivational speaker.
Activational speaker, not a motivational speaker. That. And before we were stopped by the audio, I asked you to kind of just unpack what you mean when you say not one, activational speaker, and 2, a mindset coach, because mindset coach is something new.
Yes. So I want to say, first of all, that mindset coaching is not therapy. They both are different. I have therapists that send clients to me for coaching, and I have clients that I send to therapists for therapy. Right? So therapy speaks to more pain and more trauma-based stuff, and mindset coaching speaks to performance. How are you performing with the mindset that you have as you navigate life?
Okay, so you are literally a coach.
I'm literally a coach.
A coach. Yes. So like how Steve Kerr is a coach for the Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
You would be coaching persons, and what type of person do you coach?
I coach basically anybody, but I love to coach people that are ready to be coached.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you have a goal, if you have a dream, if there's something that you're trying to achieve, check me out. I will help you get to that goal.
So if you had to pick between the two of us, who you would coach? Quick 5 seconds.
5 seconds. Let me pray about it.
Right answer.
Not about her. You could pick me. Okay. So let me jump right into it, because I'm seeing comments by Ashley. So today is a good topic because that is what I'm doing right now while watching this live.
Wow. Somebody saying they're now starting a geo pass paper.
All right. They're now starting pass papers with geo. So what is your overall philosophy in some short words on procrastination?
Procrastination.
A hot button topic.
Well, my definition of procrastination is someone actively delaying or avoiding success. Right? So this is somebody that is actively avoiding or delaying their own
procrastination
success.
Procrastination is someone actively avoiding or delaying their own success. I like that. Go ahead.
Correct. And you will want to know why you will want to delay your success. And I'm going to say something that might be polarizing, but success is not natural. Survival is natural.
Right. You're speaking towards this.
Yes, survival is natural. We were built to survive, right? So as long as we breathe in, There's no saber-tooth tiger trying to eat us.
But some might argue that survival is the success.
Survival is our biological success. That is on our psychological success. It will do whatever it needs to do to survive. But when it comes to
And reproduce.
success, when it comes to success, like going beyond that, that makes no sense to our natural immunity. And when I say immunity, I'm talking about
Surviving
physically,
and
yeah.
reproducing. And then that's so success as how we define it in terms
Yes.
of success in exams.
Yes.
So you're saying getting a 1 in CSEC Maths is not natural.
It's not natural. Because you could just pass, right? You could just survive the exam, right? But if you want success, is not natural. However, you could train your body to make that natural.
3 points to and you could feel free to jump in with some questions because I just be shooting all that.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
No
But 3
worries.
points to sharpen up that. 3 points to train yourself to do this unnatural thing of not procrastinating, not just surviving.
Well, I have 4.
Four, great.
So push, right? Prioritize, have ultimatums, just start, and ask for help.
Write that down. Write that down.
Right.
Prioritize, have
Prioritize.
ultimatums.
Have ultimatums. Just simply start.
Start.
Don't press the snooze button.
Don't press the snooze. And ask for help.
Ask for help. Yes.
That's one.
Mm.
Oh,
That's
that's
all
4.
four.
That's
That's
all
all.
4. That's all 4. That's all 4.
Just give it quick. I break
That's
it
all
down.
4. Oh,
We
that's
could break
all
up.
4.
We could break that down and
That's
start to
all.
analyze that. But yes.
The P stand for prioritize.
Yes.
Prioritize.
What's your why?
Prioritize.
Yeah. Why are you doing it? Why do you need to succeed in this exam? Have a very strong why, and I will recommend the why be bigger than you.
Ooh,
Right, I agree.
I like that. I
fully.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. See the why. See it as you benefiting others as well too. That is what success is. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So most of the students who do well, they normally just by default have a massive why.
Yes.
Their why is something that's built into creating a survival effect.
correct. Yes.
Right.
Correct.
So they hinge their whole personhood in a way or something else that's really strong onto why they should be studying right now.
Yes.
The
Ultimatums.
ultimatums.
Ultimatums is you have a reward and you have a consequence.
And you need to generate that for yourself.
You need to generate that. I'm not talking about punishment. I'm talking about a consequence. So if it is you do well in your studies, you set aside an hour to study or 2 hours, whatever that is, and you do it, you reward yourself with maybe ice cream or cake or maybe a TV show.
Right.
But you have an ultimatum. If
This
you
person
don't,
is saying the thing is I can't stop procrastinating because I cannot focus for long, especially if it is boring. I'd have to take a game break. Killer. So
Mhm.
where does one of the things that I think that made me very popular as a teacher is my ability to empathize and put myself back in the situation, back in the exact shoes of the student, right? So I could actually feel where the student is coming from when they say,
Yeah.
it's just boring. I don't want this. To just pick up maths and learn vectors right now is not something that they want to do right now. Like,
I guess we have to define boredom because playing games might be boring for somebody.
yeah,
else.
that's kind of boring.
So that's why. So gaming is boring for me, right? So we have to define boredom, right? And this is where neuroplasticity comes in. Once you establish your why, right? You establish a big why. Then it's not about being bored or being entertained. It's about being responsible for the tasks that you have to
Yeah.
do.
So neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
Can you
That's a
just
big
break
word.
down that word for us? I teach maths, eh?
Right. So neuroplasticity, I know you're a musician as well too. So
Right.
neuroplasticity is when you do something with enough repetitions, it is ingrained in your
The neurons
mind.
start firing faster there. They organize themselves up in patterns.
Yes, so you don't think about it. So when it comes to studying, if it is you do enough practice, you don't think about it from a feel good or don't feel good place. It becomes natural, right? So I know I'm probably speaking to some people late in the game here, right? But studying should not be associated to feeling good or feeling bad or whatever the case is. It should be associated with the discipline and the things that you need to do to succeed. Right, so success is not just a feel-good experience. It's not just a feel-good journey. Although you can do things to feel good about it, right? It's your journey to success have its challenges that you have to also navigate as well too.
I've seen Gregory Osborne here. He said, I took off all my alarms. Do you use alarms?
Yes, kind of religiously.
Use alarms religiously. My thing on alarms is like, when I on the hunt for something, like when I'm creating the student hub or grinding out some project, somehow I don't use alarms. Like I just wake up and do what I have to do. If I had to work 15 hours, 20-hour days, I just do what I have to do. When I using alarms is when I'm on a go slow kind of automatic mode, like right now, I'm not really doing that much, and I need alarms because I have a newborn baby. Just trying to see my way, that kind of thing. So, what's your view on alarms?
Think about it. Alarm is to signal danger. When you sound an alarm, is a danger notification.
Trigger.
So I rather remove the idea of alarm and say reminders. You know what I mean? So it changes.
Okay, so changes the language.
Yeah, it changes
the language switcher.
But it's important.
Approach it. Right. Because I hate alarms too. I hate my phone this good, but I love a reminder. Right. Remind me gently. I will obey that, but don't scare me.
So you would actually recommend for students who listen here, instead of having alarms, to have reminders, maybe a tick-off list?
Well, for some people, it might need an alarm.
Right. To not miss the exam, to wake up for the exam.
Yes.
But like to remember to study.
I have to, but that is a reminder. Some people need a reminder, some people need an alarm.
Right.
Because again, it's how you define it. What works for you? What gets you from the point of rest or whatever, or point of distraction to focus.
I saw this on YouTube, and I don't know if y'all could look it up after the live. There's this video about procrastination. I think it was on a TED Talks. You may have seen it. And the speaker was saying that he was drawing a parallel. He was creating a scenario. You see it already? And there's a
I laughed at the comments.
And there was a monkey controlling the brain, and the monkey just playing the fool, exam coming up, and monkey dancing all over. He just enjoying himself. And what the speaker is saying, I can't remember his name. He's saying that some people, there's a big bad other thing that will control your brain and grab the steering only when you reach to the point where failure will happen. Like if you fail, you would be public. Yes. You would be your parents will throw you out the house. You lost the inheritance. Everybody can say, "Oh gosh, you really fail." That kind of thing. So, and it's only when you reach that point in time. And there are some people here watching this, and some people on my channel who press subscribe to me during some dark moments just before the exam, and they realize, "Oh gosh, this man really helping me out here." It's my last minute of studying. So there is that element of procrastination, and I saw that in myself too, where I the monkey is playing, and I kind of try to measure up the time just until I feel like if I procrastinate 1 second more, I ain't gonna make it. But some people monkey those stuff playing. You have any ideas on kind of shortening that and getting in the frame of mind where you could just...
Well, I want to say this, right? Procrastination is our subconscious mind actually working on our behalf to keep us safe, or keep us safe from perceived danger, right? So operative word, perceived danger. So if there's a perception of some danger, why would the body proceed in that direction, right? So procrastination will kick in to divert us into safety, to divert us into things that we might enjoy, to take our mind away from danger. So that's why it is good to now, again, rewrite the idea of what exam is. Is that something dangerous? Is studying something dangerous? So if we start to, again, rewrite the brain through neuroplasticity, practicing, we realize, hey, exam is not a bad thing. Studying is not a bad thing. We don't have to hesitate to do something like that. This could actually bring about pleasure. So instead of diverting away from it, we go towards it. So now we procrastinating other things by studying, by actually studying.
Okay. I've just, because I've listened to what you're saying, and I'm seeing what a lot of these students in the chat are saying, which is very much along the lines of the only motivation is the fear of failure, and the only push they have is to do that because they just they can't stomach studying. It's such a it's boring, it's daunting, all of these things. So maybe I was wondering if you could speak a little bit specifically to these students, especially because I feel like sometimes a lot of students don't really have a big why. It's just you're in exams and you kind of have to do your exams. Maybe you could help them find their why or help them find something that they could.
Hold on, let's Jesse. And we're coming up with that.
Yeah.
And to double up on that, in that I think another one of the reasons why I, as a channel, I'm popular is because the students see a way, they see a path, they see a possibility. They see a student on my channel comment last year that this video helped them get a 1. So as you're answering that question, fully, I don't know if you mind just telling us your little story with CXC and like who you were in secondary school.
Okay, so right, so I'll say mindset over matter about this.
Right.
So that will speak to the bad mind theory, right? But in secondary school, I was a DEF student, everything below 50%.
Right.
I was that student.
Last time you said letters that don't exist in the grades.
Letters, yeah. I was FGHIK, right? So I was that student, right? All the way up to like a couple months before CXC, right? So this is a story I would have told the first time in our session, and now I'm telling it live. I've never really spoken about this publicly, but if I had my report book, you would see the evidence for yourself.
So where you poured your energy to in secondary school?
Sports. So yeah, so I was all into sports. I would still show up in class. I would not, duck class.
Football, cricket.
Like that. Football, cricket, tennis, basketball, rugby.
Right. Playing for the school.
Playing for the school. I was
Shout
the
out
captain.
the school.
Yes, I was the captain of all.
Yes,
I was the captain. Yeah, for the school. So the only sport I didn't play was football because it was too easy for me.
Football.
So, it was too easy, right? So
yeah, you ain't shouting out the school?
Diego Martin Government Secondary,
Right,
Diego Martin Central Secondary.
Right.
Yes. So shout out to Diego Sec. Right. Yes, I am from Diego
And
Sec.
you played on their sides. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Correct.
Right.
So yeah, so all up until CXC, well, of course, we doing mock exams, and then it came out that I was going to fail everything because I had a trend that indicated that I was going to fail CXC. So they called my parents in, and my mother was at work, so my uncle came in, and he came and he spoke to the teachers, and I remember this like if it was yesterday. So he came to me after all the meetings or whatnot, and of course he did not do good in school as well too. So I remember him counting coins, as long as I know him, right? He's doing good now. But at that time, he was really struggling. And he told me, he said, Jesse, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't want you to be like me. And it clicked. I'm like, I don't want to be like you either, right? And so what I did is I actually played. So I was good at playing sports, and I just played with my exams. So literally, and I mean, I don't want to contradict anything that they teach on their channel, right? But I started, when it comes to POB, national income is the total money value of all goods and services used by the country during a year. So I know what national income is, right? And I just started to create songs and music, and all my teammates that I would play sports with, I'm like, y'all come over in my gallery, and we will sit down and we will make songs and play games. Right? So what ended up happening shortly after that was exams, and results came out, and I got all my subjects, and I got invited to a particular event, right? Which I never heard of, right? And when I went, none of my friends was there, right? I actually got invited to an award ceremony for my performance in academics. Right? So I got a certificate
from
America. Yeah, like that was crazy. You know what I mean? But I would say I did not take that that scared approach. I had fun with it. I remove all the fear that I had with exams. I'm like, I'm gonna play.
And push.
Yes. I prioritized it. I was still playing basketball.
Right.
I was still playing cricket. I was still playing sports. But I'm like, I prioritize. As soon as I'm done with sports, it was schoolwork. And I just played with it. I just had fun with it.
All right.
Sounds to me like that why was really the clincher for you.
Yes. So I discovered my why. I discovered my why right then and there.
Okay.
And I'm here today, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interviewing you, but you have any questions for me?
That's a good question. Do I have any,
Wait,
question?
but amidst all of that, before you even ask Cohen any questions, do
Yeah.
you have any advice maybe for the students on how they could find their why?
Oh, wow, that's a process by itself. But I would start off by thinking of something bigger than yourself. I feel like once you start thinking of success as a very personal thing and a very selfish thing, it's not big enough. You know, you have to start thinking bigger than yourself. Think about what you could do to the world. Think about what addition you could leave or what legacy you could leave. And that will start pointing it towards a why that is might be big enough to drive it towards where you need to be driven towards.
A voice ever come down from heaven and tell you, Jesse, this is what you are going to do when you are 35 years old. This is your goal in life. Because that didn't happen to me.
No.
But I felt like in certain things I grasped at responsibilities. Teaching, counseling, different areas that I felt like my skills could grow, music, keyboard, band leader, that kind of thing. And in the process of doing that, I started to hear whispers of the voice. Whispers of the voice. I say nothing in response to like the why you said there, because I know some students have a lot of anxiety on they don't know what they're supposed to do with life. I don't think much 16-year-old, 15-year-old kind of have.
No.
Yeah.
I will say this, right? We all have what I use purpose and calling very interchangeably. So I define the difference between purpose and calling, right? I believe everybody on planet Earth have the same purpose. So that's something that we all could just take a deep breath and say, okay, my purpose is to love God and to love humanity. Everybody purposes that. Our calling is how we're going to love God and how we're going to love people, right? So for me, what gives me an ease in life is that God could call me to love him and to love other people however he wants me to love God. So it don't have to be this one thing. You know what I mean? It could be several different things. So it could be music one day, or it could be, you know, something else another day. But I'm still living in purpose.
Right. Understood. So instead of I understand, instead of fighting up looking for this one little
thing, just decide as I am alive, how can I love God, my creator, and how could I send love and spread love to all of humanity?
Leah, how would you answer Daniel here? Daniel is saying, I stuck in that burnt out gifted kid thing. My school had a bunch of us start second year, 9, 12, 13-year-old. So this is my third year doing externals. Now I'm doing a mix of CAPE and CSEC and can't find my why. I don't know how to get back to that motivated kid I was a few years ago.
That is, oof. I feel that. I feel that, and I think a lot of people are struggling with that whole burnout thing. Even years after finishing school, you know, lots of my peers and older family members and stuff are still dealing with that burnout thing. I don't know. I feel like the whole idea of this why thing actually is something I came across earlier this year as well. You know, beginning of the year, planning your goals and whatever. And I was watching so much YouTube videos about planning your goals and choosing the right goals. And they were talking about having a why behind everything that you do. Because when you look at your goals, sometimes you might even think about your why, and the why is not even good enough for you to be pursuing that goal. It makes you reassess whether you actually want to do that. When it comes to dealing with burnout, I feel like
been burnt out?
Yes. Oh my gosh, all the time.
You
burnt out?
Yeah.
Of course. All the time.
Yeah.
in secondary school?
Yes.
No.
I feel like I dragged myself through those exam years of secondary school. I wanted to drop out in the middle of Form 6, and my parents were like, you can't do that. But I was extremely, extremely burnt out. What I did, honestly, was I focused on what was important to me at that time. because I feel like this is not the best place.
No,
to
you
say
go
this.
ahead. You go ahead. You see what
But
I say. This
sometimes-
is the Spanish and French teacher and the student of it. Carry on.
Sometimes the path in life that you're going to be taking and the thing that is for you is not related to your CSEC subjects or your CAPE subjects and how well you do in those exams.
Sure.
I think that you want to put your best foot forward in everything that you do, but if doing that and making that your main priority is draining you of life, then you have to put your focus on the things that are giving you life.
Yeah. And how to be the parent in this situation, and I'm sure there's some parents watching, how do you balance that with, that child just, sir, he just lazy. He just lazy. It's not, so the parent is saying, he just lazy. The child is saying, that's not what I really want to do. And the parent is saying, if he do something else, he could be lazy in that too. I know my son, I know my daughter. So these are the kind of issues I get from parents and the students as well, to balance off. You have any thoughts on that?
I'm glad that you use the word balance because that is where burnout comes from. Burnout comes when there's no balance, right? So yes, there's responsibilities that we have to, because being in school is about excelling in school, is about passing your grades, is about getting to the finishing line as strong, as successful as possible. But you have to mix that with things that would, feed your self-esteem, feed your confidence and stuff like that. So I would look for, while you're fulfilling the things that you have to be responsible for, look for things that boost your confidence. Look for things that are a little easier for you, like video games and stuff like that, and have fun too.
Right.
So that's where the balance is.
Right. Because when I look back at secondary school, what I remember more vividly is not too much studying now.
Right.
You remember the fun times you had playing cards, even when the duck class. You remember the relationships built when you was lying and talking to this teacher. You also remember the successes, like that you did in exams, but the grind, and I don't really remember that too much. But I never had burnt out in secondary school so much. All right, questions. So let's take some questions from the audience. We're going to switch over to the next topic soon. We kind of pushed back behind time here due to our audio engineer coming back from a vacation. So let's just take some quick questions, and we'll see if we can do one-liner answers to answer the questions. Saying, I feel like parents don't always understand how difficult it can be. Is forcing yourself to study good even if you really don't feel like it? Jesse.
I don't want to use the word force. I don't want to use the word forcing because forcing is a negative word, right? But I would say override some of your feelings that might be telling you don't do it. I feel like you have to just discipline. Actually, when people think about discipline, is actually self-correction. So find ways to self-correct without necessarily punishing yourself. So yeah, I will kind of change the word force to just discipline yourself to study even if you don't feel like studying.
Discipline. Do you feel a person who wasn't studying hard enough for math can still study and do well? Leah. I know it's maths, but yeah, son. I feel like I get this question 1,000 times a year.
Yeah, truly. I mean, I can't say yes or no, but the best thing to do is start now. And I would say, like, this is not always the end in terms of, like, if it's not enough time now for exams this year, at least you start and maybe you could try again next year.
All right.
The best thing to do is to just start now.
Yeah, most of the time people asking that question is because they're procrastinating.
Yes.
It's because they just want to start now. So why? Yeah. What's the best you could do? Do that.
Yeah.
What's the best you can do? Do that, right? So, and the answer to the question is actually yes. The direct short answer to the question is yes. Most people, the average person, the average school student can start at nearly 0 right now and be in a position to pass CSEC Maths. It is that possible. It is that possible.
It is.
You can start from.
I am.
There we go.
EF
Testimony right here.
The next speaker who's going to come and will tell you as well. So there's enough stories and comments on this channel for you to see the exact same thing happening there. So you can start from like a really low spot and climb over that CSEC Maths mountain. It's not insurmountable. So I want to thank Jesse for the time taken.
Yes.
And
Thanks
we'll
so
switch
much,
over.
Jesse.
Now we had some audio problems before, so we weren't able to like coordinate the switch over. So we'll just click off mic and then switch and we'll go.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So here's what we'll do. I say switching out the mics. Which camera am I watching? This one. I want to do a giveaway here.
All right.
And you have to watch the comments because this is going to come fast and furious.
Okay. I am on comments duty.
And this giveaway is for the CSEC Maths crash course that we have at the Student Hub. So we have crash courses in nearly every CSEC subject at the Student Hub. So this giveaway is for that. So listen up. It's just one quick question that you have to answer. What does PUSH stand for? What does PUSH stand for? Again, some background noise there. Just click off the switch first. So what does PUSH stand for?
I'm trying to remember myself.
I'm sure there's somebody you can. So y'all could always follow Jesse, and we would write his Instagram handle on the. We'd write his Instagram handle on the screen, so you could always follow Jesse, right? Who had it first? Somebody said pray until something happens. Well, yes, PUSH can stand for that as well. But we had different words lined up for that acronym in this. So, do you remember anybody here from when we just started? He said PUSH, the idea for stopping procrastination or limiting procrastination. And PUSH actually stood for different words. Zacchaeus, pray until something happens. Kanisha, pray until something happens. Sandy, pray until something happens. Cassandra, pray until to push for your goals, says Beeks. No, we actually had words
it stands
for that.
for 4 things. Yeah, it's PUSH.
To just start.
Okay.
Start was one of them. So we go in, we could be getting them practice until some. No. P stood for something, U stood for something, and S stood for something as well.
And it's not a sentence. It's not one sentence.
Enoch said, procrastinate until something happens.
Kezia Jeffrey. Prioritize, ultimatum, start, help.
Right. And the idea was to prioritize, give yourself ultimatums, just start and ask for help. PUSH, push. Prioritize, ultimatum, start for help. So Keziah Jeffrey, you'll be using that same name. You can WhatsApp the Student Hub. You can find us on Instagram, and we will organize the maths crash course for you free this year. It's worth 300 TT. So you just won that by writing prioritize, ultimatum, start, and ask for help. Well done, Keziah. So let's just double check this mic. Is it on?
No.
Yeah, so we gain volume. So I would ask our next speaker to introduce himself. We usually finish around between 7 and 7:30. So this is going to be interesting. The next half of this segment, we are going to deal with addressing and solving issues at home. So it's a very interesting speaker that I have here. I've known him for a long time, 2 decades plus. That's a long time, my Richard.
Yeah.
So and he'll introduce himself.
Okay, my name is Richard Mahabir. I'm a police officer currently attached to the Eastern Division Child Protection Unit. We work hand in hand with the gender-based special victims department is the whole umbrella for the. I've been in the police service for at least a decade, and
CPU.
Child Protection Unit,
CPU, Child Protection Unit. And can you just give me a little typical day in the life of a police officer in the child protection unit? I am sure there are students here who may.
All right. It could be the news could be disturbing, very disturbing, but a typical day is interviewing victims, gathering evidence, like photographing, seeing, recording statements, doing medicals. I can't tell you the details of the evidence because it kind of gruesome, but
right.
Protect the professionalism of my job. However, the typical day, there's a typical day.
Okay. So
Take
if
any reports.
and I know you give speeches as well to schools and lectures to schools and student audiences. So like when you're put in a position like that, the key things that you have to say to them, what would it be? Based on what your work experience, what you have seen.
You want 3 points or I know yours.
I was going to say 3 points, but I just say key things. The key things.
All right. The main thing during a lecture, I believe, is getting the children to understand when they are being abused. That's number one. Number two is to speak out against it, because most children are quiet. They're either afraid or ashamed or other contributing factors. And the third thing is to talk to someone who could help them.
Right.
Assist them, like the police, the teachers, who could at least bring some light onto the matter and carry them further.
Okay. So understanding that you are being abused, are there situations involving, and this is on a slightly lighter note, because this could get very serious and heavy, but are there situations where you have a student who finds that during exams their parent is abusing them, and it's malicious. It's true that their parent was abusing them for exams, getting them to do what you would classify as abuse.
Yes, to do the exams,
to study for exams, preparation for exams.
That is a normal thing in the Caribbean. I feel I was abused too to prepare for exams, but the level of abuse could vary. We all technically kind of get abuse in the Caribbean, I feel, but the level of abuse you would more look into is where you literally put a child to lean on a greater, again, a little to the
right,
like marks of violence on the body. No free time whatsoever, just 24 hours once you're not in school. Any other time you get is straight in the book, or is the belt coming out, or verbal abuse.
You believe in corporal punishment?
Yes, I believe in corporal punishment.
You believe in corporal punishment?
The son right there, so you can attest to that.
Your son right there. So, and there is this verse from the Bible that Caribbean parents use: spare the rod and spoil the child. So, personally, I wrote it on Facebook some time ago. I find that the use of licks, corporal punishment, in the Caribbean is, in most cases, lazy by the parent. So they just, and my rule of thumb for this, I am not a police officer in the CPU, but my rule of thumb for this is anytime a parent jumps and hastily whips or cut the child,
pick up a pot and pelt it,
right, and it's out of retaliation or anger, and that kind of haste, I classify that as abuse. I don't want to hear about spare the rod and spoil the child. What's your thoughts on how licks is administered in the Caribbean? What is 2 plus 2?
I really want to hear this. I think everybody listening to this know the classification. How licks is: pick up a broom, pick up a pot spoon, pick up a slipper, pelt it at you, rag up a little bit. That is basically what licks is like in the Caribbean. I don't think very, I say just about the reports we may get, about 25% is literally where physical, like licks abuse or parents burning children hand on over stove and stuff like that. Trinidadians more get a quick out of the spur moment, like what you consider abuse.
Right.
That is their type of licks. They don't, most Trinidadians don't choreograph and say, okay, because they did not do this and did not do that, and not out of anger against your licks or giving your licks, because they didn't listen. That don't really happen in the Caribbean. You'll get like, wait now, you ain't wash the ways.
Right.
Pot spoon, pow, pow.
As a teacher and a parent now, I can't find, in most cases, I can't find where licks helps a child to learn maths.
to learn maths.
Well, licks helps a child to study. Parents kind of hang that over their head. So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I believe
think-
that.
You get licks to study?
I feel like that could even ties what we talked about before about the motivation of fear pushing you to study.
It,
You get licks to study?
I never get licks in my life. I just beat honest. my mother beat everybody. All the other sisters, everybody, I never get licks. But I saw where licks didn't work with my son. I thought
a unicorn, man.
I get you.
They cannot believe this man just saying that I get licks.
Nah, never.
You get licks, huh?
Yep.
I get licks. I've been licked.
I know you get licks. I see you get licks already.
Go ahead.
But with me, I don't know. I just get away, and I wasn't the best behaved. But my mother never really gave me licks.
Right.
But in terms of my son,
Right.
he used to get licks to study,
Right.
and I realized that wasn't working.
Right.
Well, what started to work for him is showing him love and making it fun for him. I guess that will fall straight into your category, being like as a planer. That is the only way, right? Ever since. He has been always for the last, you could say, 3 years, A pluses. Before that was a struggle, and he used to get real quarrel, licks to learn, it never helps. So I can attest that licks don't make you learn.
Right now, a student watching this probably just recording this little snippet and going to send it.
Somebody now in the comments say that they raise the volume so their mother can hear.
Right now, they take off the headphones and turn on the speaker. Say that again.
Licks don't work when trying to get children to learn, especially CXC and SCA. Tough subjects that would affect the future. Licks don't work.
All right. What I've discovered as a
could
parent.
tell you what licks would work for.
Hold on. What I've discovered is, as a parent, so if any parent listening, and I'm venturing into the homeschool category or the student hub soon as well, is that when your child is learning, there is effort there. That's the reason why I said licks is lazy. Licks allows you not to. If you tell a Caribbean parent to go and research on parenting, that's some parents that's like unbelievable. Why am I going to look up lectures on parenting or find out how this child learns or find out how to better reach a child? That's unheard of. Or read a book on parenting. That's which parent read a book on parenting? No, we just winging it out here. But we read a book on how to do maths and how to do chemistry, but to raise a child, no.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, and that could lead to abuse and I think issues in the home. So having some wisdom on how your child learns and being able to outsmart or encourage the child in a way so you understand how they learn is critical.
The learning pattern.
For the success of the child. Not only ruling them by fear. Fear could work, but a greater motivator.
The self into developing neuroplasticity.
I don't have it yet, so I'm not using it. Neuroplasticity. Yes.
Yeah, for it to become a repetitive action,
right?
I think you should do exactly what I say. Research, learn. These things do work. Strategies that do work. Learn about it. So teach. Work tricks on it and to learn.
Right. So if somebody is in a situation right now and they are being abused and they have identified that they are being abused, and it doesn't even need to be licks, it could be something sexual, mental abuse, and they feel trapped. Like, this is where I live. I don't know anything else. I don't know who to reach out to. If I reach out to this person, I don't know if this person will retaliate. I'll bring shame upon the family. I kind of spoke to my mother, she kind of ducked. Them kind of thing. And they have CXC around the corner.
That's a very, very, very good question. What should they do? That is a question.
Yeah. So like, what would some practical, real things, real life scenario? No, let's call this number. No, some real life things that they can do. I know that is part of it as well. But like, if you were in their position, what you think based on what you have seen in your job and what you have seen working and success stories?
Okay. The first thing is when a student, it shows off in the grades. That is number one. If a student is usually an A+ student, and all of a sudden like they are being abused at home sexually or whatever the case is, then they don't excel in school or continue to excel, the grades literally fall. So first thing I go answer is for teachers to look out for these things in children. Then when you look out for these things, you talk to the child. As a child now, what you do, you're looking for a teacher you could trust, a doctor, an adult friend who's responsible. Confide in them and talk to them and ask them or tell them, I really want to report it because I really want to get out of this situation. That is your first step. We can't help if we don't know.
But you say there's some people that don't tell. I had a friend who
Yes.
told me it seemed like the people that she tell become the abusers as well.
Obviously. It's are predators out here. So
Right.
there are females who think they could probably trust the uncle
Right.
or the adult brother-in-law,
Right.
and they say, okay, let me confide in this person because this person has been nice to me. And when they tell them, okay, my stepfather abusing me sexually, they turn around and slightly groom, build more trust, and start to do the same thing. So,
You've seen stuff like that.
yeah, so it has some people you shouldn't tell, but the type of persons you should tell, try to look for more like doctors, teachers, persons who are in authority, maybe even pastors, even though pastors,
Good.
as well as kind of on the front line for following suit with the same,
Yeah. Grooming and abuse.
yeah, the same criminal activities.
So that's the steps for a student.
First steps, yeah, make it known. Somebody, somehow, if you want to make it known on the student hub, make it known on the student hub. I need
Right.
somebody to talk to.
Right.
Because it's that serious.
Yes.
I'm sure you'd get the help on the student hub. That's number one.
And in terms of if there isn't that, or if you don't feel confident with anybody in that, is there like a general hotline that you are?
Yes, it's the Children's Authority hotline 996 or
Right.
800 2014. I don't know if anybody write that down.
996 800 2040.
Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know these hotlines.
Right. I don't know them.
As well as it's the Child Protection Unit. I could give you the number for the Eastern Division and just call the nearest police station and ask to speak for the Child Protection Unit.
Got it.
You should get all the help you want right there.
So I see you before you came on, you asked if you need to have a jeans because if you're he catching your short pants, he catching your shoe cutters.
You catch it?
So we're about to bring it to a close,
Right.
but I don't know if you want to tell them about your story with CSEC Maths. This is
CXC?
yeah.
I should be a legend inside this student of here. Definitely. I am Cohen's first student, by the way, ever. So I was in Form 5, like 2005.
4.
2004. You was in Form 4.
Yeah.
Right. So I never went to a maths class. I used St. Anthony's College. You know, I never went to maths class.
What are you trying to say?
So the exam was literally the next day for mathematics. So this guy here, Cohen Springer, he said, come with your book. He gave me a course on about 5 hours, vectors,
A very
matrices.
first crash course.
A crash course.
First crash course.
5 hours, went into the exam, just do exactly what I was told, and I got maths.
Right.
I got a 3, but I got maths, right?
No,
Choose a pass.
disclaimer. I don't want you all to try that 5-hour thing before the exam. The exam is a little different now. Back then, he had choices. So, like I said, do this one, do this one, do this one.
Right.
Right. So, he had choices.
Right.
And also, he's also very brilliant, able to
Understand.
grab a lot of, yeah. So, he was pretty self aware in how to learn. Some of us not quite there yet in how we learn.
Right.
So, put in the work. And if you're looking for a crash course, the Student Hub has crash courses in all the CSEC subjects, not all, but nearly all. All the CSEC, nearly all the CSEC and CAPE crash courses, and it's 300 to enter the crash course. So before we go, do you have any questions for Richard?
If I had to pay 1,000 for that crash course back then, I'd have paid that. Because of maths, I had jobs and things.
Don't worry, I got hang up your photo. I got hang up your photo on the wall. Y'all have any questions for Richard? Anybody have any questions? I know it's a interesting topic. So I saw less comments than before the procrastination, but everybody, I could sense the eyes and the ears tuned in, especially with the legs. Richard, are you Kerwin's secret lost brother?
If I resemble, actually, I'm his cousin. He would tell you that. Same mothers. My mother, his mother are sisters.
Yes. He's my
So
cousin.
we are cousins.
Cousin on the mother side. And that side are real cousins. So some of you here probably my cousins too.
He was always a nerd growing up. So I give him that respect. Just living up to it.
Any other questions? Amelia says she's been so focused in this session. Bless up Amelia from the student hub as well. I wonder if she's in one of your classes. She's in mine.
Amelia? No.
All right, guys. So episode 2 wrapped up. We had a rocky start, but we were able to sort it out. We won't have a rocky start for episode 3. So look out for episode 3 as well. Love and blessings to everyone here. Make sure and press like on the video, press share. And before we go, do you think we have time to, do you have another giveaway in mind?
I mean, the more the merrier.
Do you have the giveaway question ready?
Or do I have to give away a question ready?
The audio engineer just, I don't know if you all seen this, but he just smoked me out here. Let me see if it's coming true. Yeah, it's right.
No,
Oh
you
my
can
God.
see it.
Any giveaways?
Um,
So be early next week. Next week we'll have some more giveaways in store. Love and blessings. Press the smoke again. Let me see what happening there. We're going out in a blaze of glory. Episode 3 will be next week, and we'll have some more interesting guests available. Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Jesse. Jesse's here. We'll have the you can go to my Instagram and I'll share his page. My Instagram is at Kerwin Springer, and we'll share so you can reach out to Jesse if you need some mindset coaching. Love and blessings.